Good morning. I joined the chairman and the ranking member in welcoming Administrator Nelson back to the committee. Thank you for your leadership of NASA during this important time and for our nation's space program. As a self-described science nerd, being a meteorologist and now a member of Congress, I often tell my neighbors back in Illinois how important science is. I explain to them how investing in science helps grow our economy, create good-paying, sustainable jobs, and addresses problems our neighbors face every day. And that is why I champion investing in NASA, one of our nation's leading science agencies, and why the work that you and folks at NASA do is so important. Just this month, millions of Americans were looking up through their glasses at an eclipse. It's my hope that the next generation is interested in science because of what happened. But also, as we look up, we're learning more and more about how solar storms on the sun bring us not only beautiful displays of the aurora borealis, but recent events that disrupt technology and infrastructure. Why is NASA proposing to cut so much of the heliophysics division funding if we have such a need and understanding?
Well, we're not, Congressman. And by the way, as Congressman Babin is still here, I want to thank the two of you for how you get along, you as ranking and he as chairman in the subcommittee. We wouldn't have had we not had to cut $1 billion from science. And that as a result of the compromises that were made in order for the country not to go into default on its debt. And I understand that. And I said I would have voted that way. But it's a hard reality for us, and you have to make some choices of where you're spending. Now, the truth is we got a lot of good stuff going on in heliophysics. And so we're going to continue. The president proposes, the Congress disposes.
Right, right. And so, Administrator, if we in Congress are forced to continually cut budgets year after year, does that mean that there's going to be a growing gap in funding because the public sector and the private sector move farther away? And so I guess what I'm saying is, how do we meet the objectives, for instance, of the ISS deorbit and the Artemis missions, if we have a forecast for a growing gap in funding?
Well, that's what I have been pleading for, that come 26, when you get out from under the constraints of 24 and 25, that you will hopefully be a little more generous in making sure that there's not that gap that you described.
What do you think we need to do to make sure, I'm going to go back to the young STEM student for a moment. When we look forward to what we are going to learn, how do we continue to build the workforce that we're going to need to meet our objectives?
Well, the enthusiasm is certainly there. We're trying to steer them in a way by having them, and we have a lot of interns. We send out a lot of grants. We try to distribute that across the board so that you're finding talent wherever it is and get them enthused. Another thing we do, we have a secret weapon, and it's called an astronaut in a blue flight suit.
Right.
And we frequently have our astronauts go into classrooms. And I'm telling you, there's nothing like getting attention and suddenly excitement into the STEM field when they start talking about space flight.
I always look forward to bringing NASA astronauts to my district, and I hope we can do that again here soon. My time has expired. I'll yield back, but thank you so much, Administrator.
Thank you.